Now to finish up talking about Alex Jones, I want to say that I really like the guy a lot. I admire him very much for being so courageous, for being such a good American, and standing up for the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and standing against the lying mainstream media class, okay? And, and like I said, we could be best friends, but probably I could see us getting into a confrontation because I don't like, I don't like anybody thinking that, it's okay that other people walk around on eggshells around them, especially people that are in his service, And just like my dad and I learned to be best friends, and, we had our outs, we confronted each other, and he respected me for it. And while, it would have been nice to have that respect without having the confrontation, it was necessary, apparently, and, because it happened. So through empirical, evidence, just by observing the situation, you can see it happen, so that it, who's saying it wasn't necessary. But we would be best friends, and I admire the heck out of him. I have no idea the kind of pressures and stress that man is under, being as famous as he is worldwide. Phenomenon, one-man phenomenon, legend, media legend, absolute genius. I don't like to see him stooping to, using a profane language, vulgar language. I think it's totally unnecessary. And, the whole idea of, using God's name in vain, well, to me, in vain means like a cheap shot, superficially, or, off the cuff, okay? Flippantly, okay? That in vanity, it's not a good thing, okay? Because this is the Almighty Creator God we're talking about. And if God's not damning somebody and you don't know who He's going to damn and who He's not, then we've got no business, GDing anybody, okay? It's going to be up to God and the holy angels to come and to judge each one of us individually as we stand one-on-one. Because maybe somebody that's really evil believed their stuff. They were tricked, they were lied to, they were deceived by Satan, and so God's going to go easy on them because they really were ignorant. They didn't know God. They didn't know, that God teaches that those that have been forgiven most will love the most. This is very profound. So when I say, that I don't want to be rich, well, yes, but I want everyone to be rich, and that's not inconsistent, but it is a paradox. I don't hold it against anyone that's extravagant. Look, I don't hold it against the rich. Donald Trump, he likes his fancy stuff. That's fine. And when he sees that as a sin and says, well, I'm not proud of that, while there's children starving to death in the world and I'm living in this flamboyance, okay, that's nothing to be proud of. And he's convicted in his soul, and he says, no, now I want to work for God. I want to work for humanity. And he can be, he has an opportunity to love the most. You see, those that have been forgiven the most will love the most. That's the whole message Jesus was giving with this idea. He was giving a parable of a debt that, was owed. And, and then whoever you owed it to, the creditor, was writing off the debt. And you felt most grateful. The one that was forgiven the most debt felt the most grateful. So those that were forgiven just a little, you know what, I didn't even need your forgiveness anyhow. Okay, do you understand how this thing works? God is way above us. And we're always reaching to understand where He's coming from. What is His personality, nature, character? What are His beliefs and opinions about stuff? And only to that. And you've got to put this entire paradigm aside and say, this is bull, man. Who wrote the history? Who can I trust out there? Okay, you've got to trust somebody. And, the Bible is one of the most trustworthy writings in history because so many people died to preserve the authenticity, the accuracy of the book, okay? So it's got good stuff in it, and we should all be reading it. That's my advice, and it's the best thing I could probably offer. It's not the things I have to say. Remember, I'm just a flawed human being. I'm fallible, and I'm a sinner, and, but I can work for Him, as we all can. We can decide to be His servant. That's the highest calling, is just to be His friend. It's not hard. It's not a harsh task. It doesn't put a lot of burden on us. It's like Jesus said, my yoke is easy, my load is light. So it's all about serving Him properly and edifying humanity and working for the light and the truth. You want to get close to your enemies, like Churchill said. That was a Christian thing. Did Donald Trump start cursing out what's his name, Mitt Romney, when he brought out the things that Mitt Romney said about Trump, a phony and fake and all the very dangerous and all this crap? No, he didn't do that. He got up close to him, and that's power, man. I mean, what's happening now is incredible. Incredible. And I tweeted Donald Trump, to only have the finest security around him, knowing, look, you're attacking poverty, man. You're going for the heart of the beast. Okay? You're going for the jugular when you're going against poverty. Okay? And this I believe. So understand, I mean, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And what I'm talking about here, what he's talking about, being ashamed of homelessness. I've never heard a president say that, even though Jimmy Carter, by his actions, working with Habitat for Humanity, showed that he understood, he got it, that housing, certain things should be a human right. The government can't have it both ways. The government can't cause the problems by validating the problems, legitimizing the problems, and then escape responsibility. The government allowed it, whoever you perceive the government to be. Who is the government? These high politicians, your local politicians, they've got to take the brunt of the homelessness. They get blamed, but it's the policies coming from the Federal Reserve, which the politicians rubber stamp, that are causing all these financial problems. That's creating the poverty. That's what they want. That's what they feed on. Okay, that's their blood. That's what they do. That's their lifeblood. So, that's all they've got to offer, okay, is more and more misery. And their answer is genocide. That's it. We don't care that people are dying out on the streets. We can't worry about it. We can't care that people are blowing their brains out. We can't care about the homicides that are created by the financial oppression and the economic desperation, financial desperation. We can't worry about the abortions out there. We can't worry about the debt and the misery we're bringing with. When we're walking around with billions and trillions of dollars, we don't care what the rest of you are burdened with. Okay, these are mean people. These are bad people that are running things. And we've all got to get it. We're in a lot of danger. So we've all got to understand that these are precarious times, very tenuous, but the good guy is going to win this thing. And that means that, everything Jesus taught about this end of the age, man. We need a sea change. We need a monumental change of biblical proportions. We need this thing. We're screwed up, man. We think it's okay to make money off defense stocks and all this when children are being killed and maimed and they're seeing this stuff. What are you going to say to God? How are you going to answer for that, profiting off your defense stocks? Okay? Understand what I'm talking about. Even though I believe in self-defense, but we're not doing that. This is offense. We're in there actively meddling in these governments. This is crazy, man. We're stirring up the pot. We're stirring up the hornet's nest. We know what we're doing, and it's evil and wrong. And if what's going on is biblical, then Russia is probably going to end up flying over America just to show these people that think that they're going to have another coup, because we already had one with JFK, and they think they're going to have another coup with this new world order cabal, and they're just going to keep steering humanity down a path we don't want to go and destroying us. They're going to find out otherwise. They're going to see. They're going to create something that they're not going to be able to put the cat back in the bag. Okay, it's going to be out. It's going to be fully out, all the way out, and it's going to rip them to shreds. And they know it. They fear. They know that if they keep pushing the envelope, this thing isn't going to a good place. Not for them. It's going to a good place for the righteous, but we don't need to use violence. I'm the last guy that's ever going to want to use violence or to condone using violence, okay? Because, again, the pen is mightier than the sword, the spoken word. Get up close and personal with people. Disempower them. Let the status quo establishmentarians know there's nothing for them to fear. Not from, look, only fear your God Almighty, okay? Don't fear man, okay? Don't fear man and what he can do to you. The worst he can do is kill you. And that's it. He can't take your soul. And if you really believe your nonsense, all you New World Order class, you weather change people, all you Georgia Guidestone people out there that just want to commit genocide, okay? You're going to have to stand before your Creator. Okay, don't worry about me. I'm not your enemy. I'm not going to kill you. You've decided you're my enemy because you're an enemy of humanity, and I'm a friend of humanity. Okay, so it's going to come down here really soon. Something big is going to happen. It's going to be decided. That's going to show, look, the righteous are now safe and secure. Okay, it's over. War is over, like John Lennon so longed for. Okay, peace is here. War's over. We're sick of this crap, man. I hate it. I can't stand this system. It's evil, man. I don't want to make money at somebody else's expense. I hate crony capitalism. I despise crony capitalism. It's not capitalism at all. It's like communism. Okay, it's shoving it down my throat. It's authoritarian, it's totalitarian, it's fascist. The government's working with the crony capitalists to bring these problems, with the communists. This is what we've come to. And to get it back, we've got to start seeing our currency go up in worth. That's progress. That'll take us out of poverty. That's rising tide of prosperity across the board. And that is the way to achieve it. Through checks and balances, through accountability. That's it. We've got to have accountability. We need people to answer for things. And if the government is causing the problems, we need the government to stop causing the problems and to fix the problems they've caused once and for all. The government is we the people. And I'm a taxpayer, you're a taxpayer, we're all taxpayers. We've all got to get into the fray here and demand social economic justice in the name of our children, our grandchildren, our friends, whoever it is out there. You want to leave this place a little better for your short visit. That's it. Then you're a success. Then you can stand with a clear conscience before your God and say, I'm a good guy. I was willing that nobody lived under my oppression. So nobody, I didn't condone oppression. I don't condone being born into a monetary-based reality and just being told, no, this is the way it is, and this all makes sense. It's, money is innocent. It's just to facilitate exchange, when you know that it gives these satanic forces all this power. That's what it is. The image and likeness of Satan is what it is. Just because they look like they're humans, really, if you saw into their souls, you'd see these are demons. Satanic people. That's what they are. Because you see through the physical, that is the image and likeness of God, but what's behind that is evil. But we can't see it. We don't have the wisdom or wherewithal to judge one another to that degree. It's got to be left up to God to do that kind of judging. So I really would like to run through a few points here that I've made this past week. And we got a trailer park here in the town of Magalia, which is above Paradise, where the state is coming down on them. I guess they don't have a good enough septic system. And so there's dozens of families and individuals being threatened to be evicted. This man's told he can no longer collect rent, which is very low at this place, from these people. Essentially, they're camping out in their RVs. And they're scared to death. They got the fear of God in them. They can't even give the landlord their rent. I called the guy just the other day, and I offered my services. This came on the news recently. I offered my free services for what it's worth. But you know what? The community has to gather around these kind of people. This is persecution, okay? They want them dead. They want them homeless living under the bridge because Section 8 doesn't have the funding. Otherwise, isn't that their job? Is when people can't afford to pay their rent? Isn't that what Section 8 is? The government steps in there with these social welfare programs and takes care of them. So I'm appalled. I'm sickened. Nobody is more passionate or angry than this guy right here, okay? I'm angry about this stuff. And God is angry. I know He's angry. The God of the Bible is a champion of the poor, man. The God of the Jews. The God of the Muslims, man. We're all righteous, man. They're dividing us on purpose. A good communist, a good capitalist. You're both the same. Don't believe the lies they're feeding you. Okay? You're egalitarian. You want the best for not some of the people. You get that for everybody. It's like an auction. Be honest. Be ruthlessly honest. Let's say you're in an auction with a limited amount of money. You found out they're going to be auctioning off this particular item. You really want it. And then you see this guy you know's got money to burn waltzes in. And you know that, man, there goes my hope, my dash. Okay? Hopelessness. You're not going to get the item because you know he wanted it to and he's going to get it. That's what we've come to. It's social Darwinian economic principles. It's evil. That's what we've got, and I hate it. I hate it with a passion. I hate the idea. I don't hate a living being. But I hate evil, and I hate evil policies. And I hate these people that prescribe to it and perpetuate it and purvey it. I can't stand it. These policies make me sick. They're horrible. They're social Darwinian, survival of the strongest. Let the others. They're weak, man. They deserve to die. When weakness is not an immoral issue. You're not immoral if you're weak. That's just like a link on a chain. That's it, man. We're supposed to be weak. We're to come to God and let Him know we know our neediness. We know that we're dependent wholly upon Him. He provided the fruit on the trees, the fish in the sea, the eggs, and the grain and the vegetables and on and on and on. He gave us the brain in our heads to survive. Okay, it's all glory and credit to God. And yes, we can be grateful to each other. I'm very grateful when people serve me. Believe me, I wouldn't have anything without other people. I didn't create none of the stuff I have. But I'll go and create things. I'll create a beautiful garden for you. I could do a lot of things. But I'm grateful for the stuff that others have done for me. And we should all be. But above all, remember that it's God that gave people the wherewithal to create these things. So the government is a highly relative discussion, okay? Highly subjective. We have to exactly what we're talking about when we talk about government. The common denominator between a good communist, a good capitalist, a good conservative, a good liberal, a good Democrat, a good Republican, a good Muslim, a good Christian, a good Jew, is that we value our conscience. Okay, this is a commonality, it's a common denominator. And that's a beautiful thing. We should value our conscience. We should. That's the greatest thing we can do. That's the greatest treasure we have, is just being true to ourselves and teaching that and edifying others with that instruction and saying, look, this is the best thing you can do. This is your umbilical cord to God. Being God's friend is the greatest thing you do. You got His love. It's unconditional. There's nothing that can stop that from pouring forth. But, value those invisible treasures. Value one another, human beings, friends. That's what He wants. Do what He wants you to do, and you will receive great treasures in heaven. Make sure you're on the same page in regards to, what is truly, ultimately valuable, and what is marginally valuable, and what has no value at all. And understand how different the way of the world is, what the world will teach you compared to that. Make that distinction, and then you will see clearly. Then you will come out of Babylon, come out of confusion, come out of ignorance.